Welcome back to K-Sweeper. Today's story might just change how you see one of Korea's most familiar faces. Lee Byung-hun, the same actor who stunned the world in Squid Game, almost rejected the animated project that would make him a global voice in K-pop storytelling. And not just because he didn't believe in it, but because he thought the whole thing would flop. But how did he go from doubting the project to becoming the emotional core of K-pop demon hunters? Let's dive into it. It all started with an unexpected call. Back when Lee Byung-hun was living in the US, he got a message from none other than Sony Pictures. They were working on a new animated film, one that revolved entirely around K-pop. To most people, that would sound like a dream gig, but not to him. In fact, he was skeptical. Sure, K-pop was blowing up globally. BTS had already been on Ellen, Jimmy Fallon, and SNL. Blackpink was selling out stadiums. But to turn all that into an animated movie, and from an American studio? Byung-hun admitted, "I thought, will people outside of Korea really get it? Will they care?" So, he agreed to a few meetings, mostly over Zoom, just to see what this was about. Sony was excited. They had big plans. But when they finally sent over the first concept art, he was not impressed at all. "I looked at the sketches," he said, "and I thought, this isn't going to work." The drawings were rough, the characters looked stiff, and the energy of K-pop? Nowhere to be found. Byung-hun, who had worked on some of Korea's top dramas, couldn't picture this art style turning into anything remotely appealing. He didn't hold back. It looked like something half-finished, like a school project, not a global release. And right there, he almost walked away. But everything changed the moment he saw the finished product. Sony invited him to a private preview. What he saw wasn't just cleaned-up animation, it was a complete transformation. The final visuals were vibrant, fast-paced, emotionally sharp. The choreography of the battles mirrored actual K-pop routines. And the characters? They felt alive. He was stunned. This wasn't just better than expected. It was powerful. That was the turning point. Byung-hun said yes. But saying yes came with a new nightmare. Recording for an animated project is already tough. But Sony had one more request. Could he record all of it in English? Now, this might sound simple, especially since he was living abroad. But performing in English, especially emotional scenes, is a different beast. He confessed, "It was so hard. I messed up a lot. It wasn't just speaking English, it was feeling in English." He spent days in Korean studios with the director beside him, and nights on Zoom calls re-recording entire lines. At one point, he admitted he felt like he was holding back the whole team. And now, everything's changed. Because of the film's global impact, studios are now eyeing more East meets West collaborations. Fans are begging for a season 2. Rumors have already started that a major second season is being storyboarded, with more idols, more action, and maybe new voices joining the cast. As for Lee Byung-hun, he's become more than an actor. He's a symbol of cultural crossover, someone who took a risk on a project he didn't understand, and ended up helping lead it to international glory. So what's the lesson in all this? Sometimes the project that looks like a failure at first, the one with rough sketches, uncertain scripts, and language barriers, becomes the very thing that redefines your career. Lee Byung-hun almost said no, but in the end, he became the voice of a generation,